Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Hello, everybody. Here we go again. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for you, for the amazing people tuning in, and for the amazing being we have here today, Kimberly Marooney. Hello.
Hello.
We're so excited to be reconnecting. It's been years, and yet, for me, I think she would agree. Like, there's this deeper soul connection that we sense with each other, feel for each other, and so we're just so excited to be here together today. Oh.
Well, I've kept an eye on you over the years, and I was really happy to hear that you've done the same with me. So we've stayed in our energy fields, continuing the experience of blessing one another.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love that. And we're going to get more into that in a big way, I know, through the subject today. And always amazing. I do need to say this before we go any further. Kimberly is, I don't want to say this as like sounding like I'm dissing other people, but if I have to say, she is one of the most sincere, most dedicated beings in the light. One of the most dedicated ones in the light. She's so dedicated and just so amazing. So I just can't wait to share more with you. Now, let me just share a little bit about Kimberly here first. Reverend Dr. Kimberly Marooney is the founder of theangelministry.com and president of Gateway.University, a school for the study of higher consciousness. The angels want a new energy on earth. They go to Kimberly. Her beloved angel blessings cards are back. And her newest book, The Little Book of Angel Healing, First Aid from the Heavenly Realms, was written for this time of transition. She's right in step here. It's with the divine to share with you. Kimberly joyously shares love, healing, and blessings of angels internationally. And I have gained and been blessed by her work, and she's helped it probably more than she might realize, guided me on some journeys with the angelic realm that I don't necessarily know if they would have happened if she wasn't on my path. So today we're here to talk about connecting strands of luminosity. So just so excited to be with you. So now, Kimberly, this strands of luminosity, we were talking to me through email about it. And the way you described it to me was just that you just in being out in the world lately, like the grocery store, it sounded like from what I remember. But just like you just started noticing the interaction of these, what you're calling strands of luminosity, and just exchanging and just this beautiful thing that you're this beautiful thing. And I would really encourage our listeners to listen very, very deeply to everything that's sharing today, especially because one of those things is a very deep thing we're talking about. And it's something that, as you listen deeply, you'll be connecting to these strands of luminosity throughout this interview. And as you start connecting with it, it's circulating, it's opening you to the divine and sinking you deeper into it, into the mystical realm where all miracles and magic are automatic. And so I already know that about it, but let's talk about it here, Kimberly. So how do you see these, you talk about these strands of luminosity. So tell us about them, and what's led you into talking about them is what I'm curious about too. Tell us more about that.
Well, we're all highly sensitive, right? Anybody who's listening to this is most likely a highly sensitive being. Mm-hmm. And as highly sensitive beings, we're all deeply empathic. And what that means, if you don't know, is that we feel each other. But we feel each other in such a way that we think it's us. So let's say I have a wonderful husband. Let's say he's emoting and walking around the house and he's upset about something, he's irritated about something. Well, as a highly sensitive person, I sense that and I feel it, and it makes me feel anxious and irritated too. But fortunately, I'm onto this. So when I hear him out there emoting and, I'm here in my inner sanctuary and I start to feel agitated, I know, oh, it's him. It's not me. I'm not really the one who's agitated. It's him. So sometimes, I'll go out and say, hey, hon, what's going on there? So we know we're all connected. We feel each other, especially those that are closest to us. We feel each other in a very personal way where we think it's us. So years ago, I started this experiment. Oh, one more thing I want to say about that. So my path has been, how do I get the amazing experiences that I have in meditation where I'm dancing in other realms and I'm co-creating with the angels? How do I succeed in bringing that into physical life? How do I succeed in living in that connection of brilliance and joy and love and creativity and magic? That's been my real path. And so along the way, I started doing an experiment in the grocery store. So I discovered that I noticed that when I'm shopping in the grocery store, I'm pretty much on autopilot and my mind and my being just do their natural default programming, which happens to be about judgment. It's about judgment for all of us. And because I'm a beautiful woman, I've grown up being taught to be very critical and judgmental about appearance and other people. Of course, I'm deeper than that, but that's kind of like my default programming. So I'm saying this because in the grocery store, let's say I'm picking out apples on the produce aisle and some other woman will go by, and it's my natural default programming to start picking apart what she looks like. Now, I live in this tiny little mountain community. So, most of the time we don't wash our hair, we don't have makeup on, we haven't had a shower in a couple of days, but we've been hiking, we've been out in our little boat getting crab pots, we've been out in the woods foraging chanterelle mushrooms. That's kind of life here. We've been surfing out in the freezing cold water. That's life here. This isn't a place where people dress up. And so it's to the point where if I actually see a woman who's dressed, who maybe even has high heels on and, makeup, and she's got her hair done, I look at her and I think, you're not from around here, are you? So that's, to set the stage, that's my little market that I go to. So, it's natural for my brain to just start chattering away about its reactions to men and women that I see. And particularly when I'm in the checkout line, because I'm not doing anything, I'm not picking apples or fruit or, whatever, I'm just standing there. And that's when my mind really goes into it. So a couple of years ago, I tried this experiment where I would notice, I'm noticing my mind is judging that woman ahead of me in line. And I started to think, wow, so why is my mind focused on that particular quality of this woman in line in front of me? And I realized that what was happening was this deep connection of our issues. So if she was feeling insecure, then I was feeling insecure. And whatever judgment I had going on, I could tell energetically that we were both in this dance of feeling insecure in that moment. So then I would think about, so let me connect with my source and let me just broadcast a presence of peace, a presence of joy and love, a presence of self-love. And often I'd see the person that, I was doing this secret little dance with, I'd see them go, and they would relax. And sometimes, I'd see just a little bit of a smile come on their face, as I'm kind of casually watching, not trying to be stalking them or anything, but just, kind of being present in the moment. So I started to have just these magical little secret moments in the grocery store long ago. So this summer, I was again refocusing on how connected we all are. And I'm psychic. Sometimes I see things, sometimes I don't. I usually shut down my senses when I'm out in the world because I don't want to invade people's privacy. I just don't want to know. And I don't actually want to know what's going on with all those people out there in the world. I don't actually want to be open and vulnerable when I'm even walking down our little main street with two other people on it, So usually when I'm out in the world, I close down, I pull in, and just I'm another person on the street. You'd never know.
Right.
So what happened in this summer, here we are all in COVID, shelter in place here in America, lockdown in some other places. Once again, I decided to open up and have more awareness of what's happening in the world around me. So I started to notice that as I was walking down the street, down the sidewalk, there would be this strand, I'm going to call it a strand of light that was with me, that was going by me. And, it's as if you draw your hand along and it's creating a light.
Wow.
So behind me, there were these lights coming with me. And as I was reaching for that apple in the produce, or reaching for, whatever it was I was buying in the store, I was seeing this strand of light following my hand and touching whatever it was I was touching. And I was noticing that wherever I moved and whatever I touched, there was a glow of light that remained there. And I thought that was pretty trippy. And there were all kinds of colors. It was fun. I was noticing these different colors, and I was thinking, oh, what does that color mean? Oh, yeah, that's a chakra color. Oh, yeah, that's a healing color. Oh, yeah, that's a creative, happy color. So I'm having fun kind of playing with that. And then one day, back in the produce section, I think this time it wasn't apples. It was, what was it? It was, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. It was, does matter. It was grapes. Okay, it was grapes. I'm looking at the grapes, and I noticed that in front of me, there's like a tapestry, and a barely visible luminous tapestry. I could see in weaving, how you can see the warp and the weft, you can see the threads in the weaving. So I'm noticing that all around me, like the hologram in Star Trek, all around me is this beautiful, effervescent, luminous tapestry of life. And as I'm reaching for grapes, I'm seeing this beautiful purple light come in and weave itself into that tapestry. And then I'm noticing, oh, if I have a thought, oh, wow, that's healing. Oh, here comes some green energy weaving itself into that tapestry. And this tapestry began to take on this beautiful, luminous quality with all these colors. It went from just like a white to these beautiful colors and shapes and patterns. And then I started to look around, and I noticed that the people around me were they were much fainter, because they weren't tuned into it. They were much fainter, but there was light around all of them. And I noticed that I'd watch somebody touch something, and I'd see it light up in the tapestry, the fabric of life. So I'd go over there and I would add something to it. And I was realizing that in this way, we are so connected, because the air we breathe, our exhales, our inhales, we're inhaling and exhaling the same light. We're touching the same things. We're walking through the same space. And in this, we are having this potentially very sweet connection with one another. So if you're, what's the point? I'm really taking a story to tell this, because I want to make this important point. So what if you're irritated, you're upset, you're angry? That's what you're weaving into the fabric of that space. And the people who come beyond after you, who are highly empathetic, are feeling that agitation and that irritation, and they think it's them, they don't know why. So when we can take a breath and relax and come to the peace in ourselves, and adjust the fabric of that space to reflect peace, that is what makes us masters of ourselves and planetary masters. And we are blessing the space for everyone who will follow us.
Yay! Yes. I feel like I'm diving in the ocean of that wonderful tapestry that I want to be a part of. I'm like, yes. like I get a sense of like a parachuting down in a circle with light leaders, like we're bringing it, we're bringing this amazing energy here to Earth, we're grounding it, we're bringing it in. So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's incredible. And you know, one of the things that just that reminds me of is just we're so caught up in the density of life. I mean, there's so many aspects what you said I could talk about. One is just that this density that we walk around in, that we are congested, we're tight, you know, and we're not, and then therefore with the tightness, there isn't the flow and circulation of our energy, and the maybe the openness to be able to be more aware of the depth of what's happening with in, you know, with these strands of luminosity, for example. Like, I guess what I say is because I know other people have had experiences, their own experiences, like I have, where yeah, if you kind of get in that kind of wavy state, but you get in this kind of deeper state. People call it shamanic sometimes, right? Different states. You get in a state that yeah, everything takes on it reveals the truer, deeper quality, I would say, of what everything is. And I've experienced it in certain ways, not like you have. I haven't experienced that. I've experienced my own way, and this is where people who are, you know, like next level healers, they're in the state. They're in this deeper connection, and it's where there's such an ease to life. And so I mean, that is really amazing. So one of my biggest questions about it right now, Kimberly, is this something that gradually just started to happen, or is that how it happened? I mean, how did it come to
Yes,
you?
yes. It just, I'm so blessed and so guided in my life. My prayer, the space that I live in is, please, Lord, make me your own. Help me to know who I am as the light being, as the eternal presence of light. Help me to know, some people call that the Christ light. Help me to know who I am as the Christ light that inhabits all of us. Help me to experience the oneness that's the reality of our truth. And the reason I took such care and time with that story is that you may have noticed that I was weaving in this presence of light into the tapestry around everyone who will ever watch this segment. That's one of the blessings I've been given, is to operate outside of time and space. And in that eternal now, where we are right now, I was, with the help of Spirit, weaving this beautiful tapestry of light all around you, into the space where you are, into your home, into your car, wherever you are, into your office, weaving that precious essence of love and peace and sweetness to hold you in your life.
Yes. Yeah, and I've experienced this with other couple guests or two before. The way you bring the way your presence, your radiate in your presence, just has us feel like let's just hang out. You know, we don't need to talk even because it feels so yummy. So I really appreciate that about you. So this is great. I mean, this is a deeper level of, you know, some of it is like it is simply. So here I have a question for you. Let's do this for a second. So are is it that you're weaving, you know, this will be a fascinating quick exploration, but is it that you're weaving it, or is it that you're a channel and you're just aware of the weaving, and then that's allowing it just to flow? Or we don't really know, do we? So I
So
think it's a fascinating question.
it's both.
Yeah.
It's both.
Both,
So,
right?
you know, we're much bigger than the body, the personality, the emotions, and the thoughts that we inhabit as human beings. There's much more to us in our energy bodies, in our being. We are all masters. We all operate, we're time lords. We operate outside of time and space. And so there's the part of us that's operating from the other realms always. And that's the part that's, for the most part, doing this beautiful light weaving for us. As we become aware of it, though, we can then cooperate and participate. So as I cooperate and participate, I can begin to receive joy and pleasure and bliss and fun from this experience of co-creating, this co-weaving, these strands of luminosity. You know, I think color, and boom, they illuminate into that color. I think a shape, and boom, you know, they manifest into that shape. So we can participate once we become aware of this potential. We can then become a participant to help bring peace, bring kindness, bring love to a physical place where we are in life. And the more we're there, the more we can bring that presence in. So I go to the grocery store is the main place I go. You know, I've been mostly in my house since shelter in place. I've been mostly in my house. And I sit here, I have a beautiful view of our community, and I can see across 32 miles of water to Victoria, Canada in front of me. I see my neighbors, I see all this beautiful street. And as I'm meditating, as I'm feeling this joy and bliss in myself, I send it all out into my community. I send it out into my state and my country and my hemisphere and the world. I send it out into our galaxy and our universe and the multiverses. And then I call it back in, bringing blessings back into my heart. So we can, the more we do that, the more we add blessings, love, peace, joy, harmony, co-creativity, cooperation, the more we direct or project or broadcast that out into the world around us, the more it influences collective consciousness, and the more the people around us feel that peace, that harmony, that willingness to cooperate, which is really important right now, especially in America, but also in other countries as we're going through this shift. So there are a lot of people who are really freaked out. They're afraid, they're anxious, they're worrying. I'm blessed in my life. I live in a beautiful, peaceful home. We have enough. We have plenty of food. We're warm. The weather just got colder here. It probably is where you two we got freezing. We're starting to have freezing at night now. We've got snow up on the mountains. So we are warm and cozy in our house. We have everything we need. We have love. We never fight or argue. We live in a state of bliss and peace. And I think that's kind of unusual.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would say it is unusual. I would agree with that. And yeah, so I mean, one of my you talk about planetary mastery, for example, and want to get into that in a minute. One of the thoughts I'm having as you're saying all this, I'm like, well, Kimberly, you've always been doing this. You know, you've always been co-creating for a long time. Anyway, I mean, you know, you know, I think the audience might benefit just slightly from realizing, because I remember you being on, you know, some of my past things I've done, and you talked about really being a perfectionism and really like being in your head, and like you gotta like from what I remember is like a control thing, right? Like we gotta control it, we gotta make it happen, we gotta, oh my God, am I enough? Is anything enough? And is all that stuff. And maybe some of our listeners are still dealing with that. But like as you progress, like you've deepened in the light, and we all have these sense of peaks and valleys, right? So you've gone into the dark valleys and then come out, you know, we keep going on this journey. But like the people might be listening, say, hey, I send light out in the world all the time. Yeah, that's perfect. That's great. That's exactly, that's right on. And I think though, what I want people to be aware of, if they're not already aware of, but just to deepen the awareness, is like, and what we're talking about here is taking that to another level, another depth. Because I know that with Kimberly, like she has taken me deeper, and that's saying something. Because usually people are supporting the depth I'm already at, more so, and like she takes you deeper. So whatever level you're at, my guess is just being here with us is taking you deeper, and that's a testament to your purpose, Kimberly. How you're a spiritual rock star. So,
Thank you.
but
Thank
yeah,
you.
I mean, um, you know, you talk about doing about this planetary mastery. I get a little concerned about that. Just like my own mind is like, what are we going to master anything? I don't know. But like, so tell us about what that is and how can we access more and more of this aspect of ourselves that you're talking about? First, what is it? How we access all that?
I receive messages. That's what I call it. I pray, I ask questions, and I receive messages. And over the years, the sources of those messages have shifted a bit. In the beginning part, I perceived them as being the angels. And when I was writing the angel blessings cards of sacred guidance and inspiration, and when I was writing angel love cards of divine devotion, faith, and grace, and when I was writing the little book of angel healing, first aid from the heavenly realms, there's this voice that speaks through me. And in the early part of my, I'll call it my transformation, I perceived that to be a being that was outside myself, like the angels. And that was when I was more perfection oriented. Thank you for reminding me about the control freak perfection segment phase of my life. I'm happy to say that it's mostly gone.
Right.
Every now and then I catch myself not trusting the flow. But I can thank COVID for releasing that a lot, because in January I did my usual thing where I looked ahead for the year and I thought about the classes I wanted to teach, and I took days laying out my calendar on the wall. Mm-hmm. And then COVID came and none of that happened. But what happened instead was truly miraculous. And so I've trusted to be in the flow with that. So speaking of those layers, a couple of years ago in one of those messages, I was talking with Spirit, and one of those messages came back telling me, making the announcement to me that the heavens were singing because I had attained planetary mastery. Well, of course, that sent my ego off for a year.
Right.
What does that mean?
Right.
How can I fail at that?
Wait a minute, am I still mastering this thing or what? Like, how do I maintain it then? I bring a lot of questions to the mind, right? Like, what's
maybe
this all
that was
about?
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, right. Thinking over and over, it might have been longer than you.
And eventually I settled down, and I started questioning, well, what is that really? And how I perceive it now is that those of us who are sending light into the world are giving. We're healers. We have some mastery. And when it becomes planetary mastery is when we get to the point where it's not about us anymore. Like for me, my life isn't about my own transformation anymore. It's not about my own issues most of the time. Every now and then something creeps through that I need to take care of. But for the most part, it's about how can I be more of the vessel of my true being than I am? And how can I look out into the world that's around me to bring peace to the situations where there's anxiety, hatred, fear, greed? How can I be a presence of peace, of joy, of kindness? How can I influence that? And so as I continue to receive these beautiful messages, I finally owned up to it's me talking to me. It's my eternal being that's speaking to me in this way, because this is the way that I have allowed myself to connect and listen. And so from that knowing, planetary mastery is that, once again, it's beyond us personally. It's not about my personal gain in the world. It's not about my own transformation. It's about the oneness with my brothers and sisters here living in the world. It's about oneness with our Mother Gaia. It's about oneness with our Heavenly Father Sun. It's about oneness here in our material world of existence. And in that, how can I be a presence for greater peace? And the best example I can give is, here in America right now at this time, as we are approaching our election, we're casting our ballots. We're in a very interesting political time. And there's a lot of grief. There's a lot of anger and hatred. And it's very easy to get distracted by that. It's very easy to get sucked into it. So in my own life here, I'll be watching broadcasts, and I don't want to take a side, but I'll be watching broadcasts. And let's say there's someone that I disagree with speaking, and I'll find myself wishing that something would befall them to just get them out of there.
Just
I'll
take
put
them
it
out.
politely. I'll put it politely that way. And I'll have this thought and I'll think, wow, I just had, wow. Okay. So I'm tapped in. Here we are back to global consciousness. I'm tapped into the energy and collective consciousness that is wishing harm to others. How good to know that. How good to know that that energy is really active right now, because that means that there are probably millions of people out there who are watching various aspects of the news from their own unique perspective, wishing harm on the people that they feel are the opponents, opposed to them, that are out to get them, or whatever it is that we're thinking. I'm gonna lose something, whatever it is we're thinking. And so when I catch myself having those thoughts now, instead of beating myself up for it or thinking that I should be more advanced, or whatever kind of self-judgment I can throw myself into there, I've stopped doing that. And instead I recognize, wow, look what's in collective consciousness right now. So I'm being invited. That was an invitation from spirit for me to counter that with feelings of kindness, of peace, of the desire for co-creativity, because we all really want the same thing. We all really want to live in peace and harmony. We want to have enough. We want to have enough food and enough warm, a beautiful home with, with heat or cool, whatever weather you're living in. We want to have the things that we need for our children and our families. We want to have a nice life. And we all want that. We want our children and our parents to be taken care of. And so we can unite in that. Unite in the fact that we all truly want the same thing in our hearts. Our mouths may sound like it sounds different, but we truly want the same thing in our hearts. And so when I can remember that, when I get a little wake up, or a treat, and I remember, oh, okay, let me come to peace in myself first, because I need to simmer down from whatever agitation I was feeling. And now let me share that out into my family, into my neighborhood, into my community, out into my world, and feed that aspect of peace into the community.
Yes, and yes. I was just thinking, I think I'm going to write a post that I'm going to ask. I'm going to say, okay, we're going to give gratitude for the two candidates. So, what gratitude do you have for Donald Trump, and what gratitude do you have for Joe Biden? Post below, and only that, please. No other comments.
Beautiful.
Because honestly, we're so busy. Even if you're for one side or another, the majority of people are still hating on their candidate at some level. They're like, oh my God, they suck, but they're way better than the other one. And then we do that with other things in life too. It just makes it so clear with something like this, right? So we're like, oh well, I love that, but I hate. Like, I think about desserts. I always use food, but like, I love that cake, but I hate you. You're so bad for me. Like, so I'd rather have the banana or the salad or whatever, but I hate you because, after all, you're kind of boring. And like, the mind's got all this ideas about what's interesting and what's not interesting and what's right and wrong and all that stuff. And, my whole thing is, I'm sure it's the same for you. It's just, the answer really is, it's all about in the heart space. It's in the love. We think like somehow we're going to lose something there. We're only going to lose everything we're suffering from. That's what's so hilarious. Oh my God, if my defenses are down, I'll lose something. Yeah, you'll lose all the problems that you're dealing with, basically, for the most part. Like you said, like for the most part. And I love the way you describe your mind. That's how I experience my mind most of the time. So most of the time, I'm like, I have a thought, but I don't. I don't identify with my thoughts the way I would have, 20 years ago, whatever. I mean, it's just like, oh, I'm having this thought. Okay. And every once in a while, I get kind of hypnotized by my thoughts, right? Like we all might. And then I'm like, wait a minute, these are just thoughts. Let them go. Okay, whatever. Because there are things you get so fixated on. You're like, no, this is, in this case, this is true. Like, and it's so hilarious. No, it isn't. No, it is. When your mind says it's convinced to something in that regard, in that way, no. And then it's not true. So it's absolutely not the truth. So if you get all hepped up and something's true, it's not really the deepest truth. It is absolutely not the deepest truth. So there's something underneath that. And that's where the strands of luminosity, where we're able to access that, right? And we're able to start connecting with that. And I know that I know I know that you have something you want to share around that. You had so is there a tool or something you wanted to share with us around helping us to connect with that? Yeah.
So the first thing is a breath awareness exercise that's pretty easy to do, that we can use to help break patterns. And so when you catch your mind whirling around in that squirrel cage, or when you catch that monkey dancing on your brain, this is a really good thing to do to help you pause. So I like to put my hands over my heart because it brings my attention out of my head and into my heart. And also, we want to feel our heartbeat. So let's close our eyes and just breathe for a couple of breaths, and breathe until you can feel your heartbeat. Nice, slow, gentle breaths. Oh, this is a good example. I'm pretty excited about being here today and talking to you, so my heart's beating faster than usual. So as you're feeling your heartbeat, breathe in to the count of 4, hold 4, and breathe out to the count of either 6 or 8, depending upon what you need. So in 4, hold 4, out 6 or 8. Now, when you hold your breath, imagine the space behind your eyes and the back of your head, and imagine a light switch goes on and that space lights up inside your head with the most beautiful light. Could be any color. Mine's usually white, but it could be any color. So just notice. And as you're holding your breath, feel the majesty of that light inside you. Now, on the next breath, hold that light as long as you feel. So let go of the 4 count, but hold that light as long as you feel. And then as you exhale it, imagine broadcasting that light out to your family, to your neighborhood, to your world. And then when you're ready, just stay where you are in your feeling and just simply open your eyes and breathe normally.
Oh, beautiful.
How did that feel, Daniel?
Oh, really good. I really love that. I love I love utilizing the breath. That's something that could use a little bit more, even more attention in my life is the breath work. And it led me into Kundalini yoga in part recently. And so, but in my day-to-day life, a little bit more with the breath work. And so that was really helpful. And then I hadn't done that before. What you did, like, oh, light switch, light coming through, like I hadn't done that before. So that was new. And I was thinking about my neighbors and, oh my God, we had a situation where they leave their dog out in all kinds of inclement weather. And we're one of several people that have called animal control. And I was confronted, recently the neighbor says, oh, I know you've been calling animal control, quit it. You mind your own business or let us know if you're concerned. And, I said that I didn't call because I literally wasn't the one that called, but, so, but anyway, my point is I was sending love there. I have been already again and again and again. That's just where I've been at. And then I was just seeing that dog, just sending so much love to the dog and all of them, but the dog seemed to be the one I kept settling on like the most. So, but yeah, I started to get the sense of that strands of luminosity of the light, because you see, you're connected, that's you guided us into. So, oh, there's the light, right? So, so it's interesting. I can see how if you continue that practice, that increasingly you just be aware of that. You become aware of the light that is there, that you'll be experiencing that. Whether you're saying you're creating it or you're finally awake to it, I guess they're kind of one and the same in a way, but sort of, maybe. I don't know. What's your perspective on that?
So I want to tell you a little bit more about what's happening there from a neuroscience
Yes,
perspective.
yes.
So when we focus between our eyes and the back of our head, what is that space? It's our pineal and pituitary gland area.
Right.
And that's what opens our third eye and our crown chakra to connect with spirit. So by breathing into the middle of your head, by holding your breath and holding the energy in there, you're helping to decalcify your pituitary gland and allow it to vibrate. When we're young, our pituitary gland vibrates freely and it lets us to connect with the other realms, which is why children are so connected. They're so imaginative because they're connected. And as we get older, the foods we eat, our lifestyle calcifies that gland, and it gets stiff, so it can't vibrate like that. So when we do an exercise like this and hold the light, hold our breath, hold the light inside our head like that, we're allowing our pituitary to throw off the calcification and to begin to vibrate again, to help us have a deeper, more profound connection with the truth of ourselves, with spirit.
Yeah, and I just want to say for people that, because I could have been one of these people years ago, I'd be like, oh, whatever, here we go, the pineal gland, it's everything, and this and that, and decalcify, whatever, I might have thought that years ago. But literally there's scientific people that study these things, and it's a real thing. It's a real thing. What she's talking about, this isn't like some woo, again, with the woo thing, right? Some woo concept that, just some imagined thing. It's actually a real thing. And there's many people that are very wealthy, powerful people utilize this knowledge to open themselves. Some people call it sacred knowledge, hidden knowledge, but there's so much available. So many of the teachings are geared, these deep teachings of awakening are geared towards really doing just what you talked about. It's a real deal thing.
Yeah. So I would really love to share a message about Strands of Luminosity and about planetary mastery.
Awesome.
Is this a good time for that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So let's get in a receptive place and take a journey. This is a journey, a fun journey. So I like to put my hands on my heart because that reminds me that the gateway to our inner being is through our hearts. And I always like to begin with eyes closed, breathing into our hearts. and thinking about who do we love most. So beyond thinking, you want to feel that love in your heart, that visceral, heartwarming, expansive feeling when you think of who you most love. So that could be a four-legged or a two-legged or a winged or a hoofed, it doesn't matter. Could be, skin bag. Could be spirit, whatever stirs your heart to love most. Hold that being, that person in your heart. They don't even have to be here anymore. It could be that they've departed. So whoever it is, hold that feeling of love in your heart until it becomes a warmth or a comfort. And then take these nice, gentle breaths that we were just warming up. No retention, just breathe into your heart, inviting that love to expand. That's it, just like that, until that love expands to be larger than your physical body, out into your energy body, until it expands to fill the room. And let it expand as far as it wants to expand as you're opening your being to presence with your eternal self, presence in oneness with me, with Daniel, with all of us who will ever watch this. And in my inner vision, I see everyone who will ever be watching us. And at this moment, we are in the eternal now. I see your beautiful heart light, your soul light, your wisdom. I see your beautiful master self. I acknowledge you. I recognize you. We connect through our hearts with love. And in this recognition, feel the support of how many other beings of light there are with us. We are never alone. As the sun rises each morning in planetary rotation, so does the sun of awakening rise in celestial rotation. It is assured. This transition is shaped by human reaction. That's you. You are the human component. As silly as it may seem to make this point, you have far more impact on planetary consciousness than you yet perceive. Let that sink in. You have the ability to impact global perceptions. This is not a burden, but an opportunity to shine the light of peace into collective consciousness. It is an invitation to choose how to focus your daily life, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. Are you joining the fearful? Or are you standing as a beacon of peace? It's simple to shine the light of love and peace for a short time, even a moment. And then again, and again, and again. You don't need to be perfect or enlightened. This can be simple, sweet, blissful even, one moment at a time. Use every thought and feeling you have throughout the day as a springboard or a reminder or an invitation to shine. When you find yourself in a state of peace or love or joy, remember to radiate that light outward to your family, friends, community, and the world. It only takes a few seconds, done, and you have just blessed consciousness for all of humanity. When you find yourself struggling, beset with worry or fear, anxiety or irritation, Step back from the thoughts and emotions inside yourself and breathe. Relax for a moment. Allow your heart to open to calm. Be at peace. Breathe into your heart just as we have been doing together. Spirit is with you for every breath. This is why we call it the breath of God. You are never alone. Breathe into your heart until you feel love blossom within. Breathe into that love as it expands to surround you, to release you from fear and bring the peace of health and well-being. Breathe again into the expansive feeling and imagine sharing this peace and health with your family, your friends, community, and humanity. It can be that simple, and it can be done in seconds with a little practice. Train yourself to perceive each change of emotion and thought as opportunity. While you work, when you reach a moment when you don't know what to do next or how to do it, or when you feel that flash of heat from frustration or confusion, when you feel the chill of self-judgment, pause. Breathe. Trust. Allow calm to fill your body. Trust that spirit, your true self, your eternal self, angels, your spirit guides. Trust that we are here with peace and clarity. Believe that you are participating in the awakening of consciousness, because you are. You are a co-creator of your conscious evolution. You are a planetary master assisting in the great awakening that is happening now, all one breath at a time in the sacred sanctuary of home. The next step is to remember that millions of other earth angels like you are doing some version of this practice all day, every day. Imagine receiving the light and love that they broadcast. Feel that light strengthen and encourage you. Imagine strands of luminosity connecting in your neighborhood, your community, your country, your hemisphere, the earth, and beyond. Out into the cosmos for billions of beings who are here supporting this awakening of consciousness here on our precious little planet Earth. Imagine us with you all day and at night when you sleep. Open your heart to receive the emanations of love that we are sending you. Your old friends, the archangels, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Jophiel, Shamuel, Metatron, we are here with you every moment. The masters, Saint Germain, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, the Tibetan, we are here with you truly. The great seraphim, God the Father, God the Mother, Creator, we are here. We are here. Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, we are here with you always. Let this connection be personal. Imagine seeing us stand with you, hang out with you, work, cook, relax, play, and love. We are here with you. We are here when you pet the cat to feel the calming vibrations of the purr, or play with the dog or the child, or work or exercise. We are here. You are never alone. There is no separation. Can you feel this expansive connection in your heart? It is there. You are activated to divinity. Be love, be light, be peace. This is your natural state. And so it is. And when you're ready, stay in this place. Don't leave it. Just open your eyes and see from this place of connection in your being.
Wonderful, Kimberly. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for guiding us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share this blessing.
Yeah, I mean, just put this whole thing and putting the hands on there is really powerful. So thank you for that. And just putting your hands on the heart space, it feels such, such radiance, such energy moving, such, I say power, such a power, such a strong energy connects you with everything and just kind of melts away everything that's from their mind, right? So, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm sure a lot of people are just like, okay, I'm good. In that space. But that's incredible stuff, Kimberly, as always. And I'm so grateful for this blessing. And um, now, this is probably a good time for you to share, uh, for us to just kind of ground and share, because I know that you wanted to share like how people can, again, continue to deepen with everything you're sharing. So you want to share your free gift that you have for everybody today?
So, shortly after we went into shelter in place, I had a friend who challenged me to have a deeper connection with spirit. And it was kind of interesting the way it happened. It's actually, he's not a friend, he's somebody that I know through another community, who sent me a personal email telling me that God and Jesus had some communication for me and I wasn't listening. So, I love it when that happens. So of course, I want to know. So I went into deep meditation and started to receive these just powerful meditations or messages to tell us how to live through what's happening right now. So at this point, I've received, I think, 27 or more messages that I've put into this series. And it wanted to be called Awakening Consciousness, Divine Guidance to Activate Your Divinity During Shelter in Place. So I made a place for it. It's at activateyourdivinity.info. So go to activateyourdivinity.info and click the button that says I'm in. And that will start one of these messages every day in your email box. And so every day you'll get these instructions from God to you. This is from God to you personally. I happen to be the intermediary, but it's from God to us, to all of us. And one of the very first things it says is to rest, to take advantage of this time where we're home, to rest, to take 15 minutes twice a day to actually lie down. I've had a really hard time doing this. But when I've taken that 15 minutes to lie down twice during the day and just rest, to meditate, to go within, miracles have happened. And the other thing that shocked me was that when I did that, I realized how exhausted that my body actually is. So I'd lie down thinking that I was lying down for 15 minutes. And there were many times where I'd go to sleep and I'd sleep for 2 hours. And I would let myself sleep like that, realizing that I needed that rest to help my body to have strength and resilience. And sure enough, I have not been sick. I'm healthier, I think, now than we were when we started shelter in place. And so that's one of the fun first directions we had. So each email is a message of love, of comfort. It's a direction for how to bring more spirit into your everyday life. And these messages are so amazing. I have them set up so that they just keep repeating. I get one every day. And I'll get it and I'll say, like today I got number 10 that was bringing comfort. And I'll forget, I forget that I received that message. I'll forget that I've already read that 5 times. I'll read it again and just feel the loving energy that's in it. So I invite you to go to activateyourdivinity.info. You can check it out a little bit and click I'm in, put in your name and your email address, and immediately you'll get that first message that is so sweet. And so every day now for about a month, you'll get a message. And since we're talking here, I actually have a couple more messages. Maybe I'll add them on too. So this
Okay, great.
strand
Great.
of luminosity in these messages is deep, profound. It is awakening consciousness.
Yes, yes. I just signed up myself, and yeah, I'm fascinated just to receive the messages, like as always. And so I totally recommend that people go ahead and go to activateyourdivinity.info. And listen, if you called to do it, just click and just do it like I just did. And then the way I look at it is if I don't want to receive anything anymore, because a lot of people feel overwhelmed these days with all this information and stuff. But honestly, the things you're supposed to be with the most will stay with you. And you'll just unsubscribe to whatever is, not needing your attention right now. Just trust your guidance. So
There's an
anyway, yeah,
opt-out. There's an opt-out link on the bottom of each message. If it's not for you or you feel like you're done, click the link.
exactly. So I think a lot of people are thinking that way now. They're like, oh my God, that sounds overwhelming. Another thing. But coming off that meditation, probably not. But but yeah, I mean, that's how a lot of times where I hear people not wanting to do certain things. But yeah, absolutely, it will take you out of overwhelm. I every during the every work day, one of my meditations I lay down. It's probably my favorite meditation. My other favorite meditation when I do them is when I do really late night meditations because it's so quiet. It's such an amazing time to meditate, and so that's right up there too for sure. That's really high vibration you can tap into then. And but yeah, the laying down is so amazing. I could just stay there, right? So it is an amazing meditation. So I'm grateful that it's sharing these messages with us. And yeah, so Kimberly, I think we're to the point of the show where I'd like to go ahead and just offer to do a little bit of energy scanning for you. Tune into your energy a little bit to share some things just for a minute or two. Are you ready?
I would love that, Daniel. I love how you work.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to tune in. Whatever comes through, I share. Let's give me a second. The obvious is the super connection with angels. So you know that, but it really is because you've centered yourself in so much. You have angels. It is unusual. It's not what I normally would see. But angels are not usually angels. I see them coming down, kind of thing, in people's energy. For you, they're coming from all directions into your heart, all directions. And so it's so many legions and legions and legions of angels. So that's the first thing. And then um, yeah, okay, what they're showing me, I just asked to share whatever is most relevant. I see a librarian energy right now. And so there is some the library, none of it's bad, right? So but it's like this librarian energy is trying to carefully, put things in the right place, get everything organized and right. Wait a minute, let's look at it again. Now wait a minute, is that right yet? And like I was calling a librarian, but it's like, overlooking all this precious material and energy or whatever. So it's a gift, and I feel like at times it gets overdone for you. So it's like we can't go to the next step because we're still, wait a minute, let me look at it again. I can't go yet. So there's something that needs to triple and quadruple check and all that stuff. And so that energy in various ways maybe it's a gift, but it also can slow down, maybe slow some things down that where more blessings could be circulating. Let me put it that way. So maybe more of a letting go in that area. So those are two things there. Let's see if I get one more quick message for you coming through. Just books, so just something simple like books. And you know this too, but like they're just showing me so many books, and so they definitely, like, getting the number right now, like it could be more, but like at least 10 or 15. I know you've already written some books, but like I'm getting like at least 10 or 15 books I want to come through. They're really clear, like there's no doubt about it. So I'm getting definitely that you're meant to keep, like you've been preparing to share at a next level is the feeling over the last few years. And now it's getting to be time. You're starting to wade into the water. You're into your ankles maybe, and you're going to go into your knees pretty soon. And then you're really like in 2021, you're really starting to go really deeper in, and that the world is like your time is right. Your time is right to take on your next level of leadership over the next several years. So anyway, so there's always so much, but those are what I have time to share real quick right now.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. Right on, Daniel, right on.
Yeah, thank you.
And I love it that you say the librarian, because I was just, that's actually what I'm doing. I've been transferring the library of my work, my body of work, onto another platform where it will be safe and protected and more accessible. And so I've been cataloging it, which has been a huge job. And I think it's probably that cataloging that they're thinking is a little overwhelming. But I have such a huge body of work that it's hard for me to find stuff. So
Right. Yeah. It's not that it's throwing it out like this whole thing you're doing it, but it's like there's some letting go of this energy that's.
I get it. I see how I get fixated in that, truly.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say that I have already written a dozen books. They're here behind me.
Oh, you already written that many. Okay.
Dozen, and I'm happy to hear that I've got a couple of more that I've been feeling too. So beautiful.
Okay. Because that I was getting as a minimum, it was so that was super clear. But I could feel like there could be so many. I didn't want to overwhelm me. I'm like, there could be even so many more, but that was the minimum. So from there, I just want to share with everybody, if you want to check out more about myself, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. I have a free meditate to make money meditation, open up your energies, your chakras, get your guidance for the day, each day. People are making more money that are using it each day. And also there's opportunities to connect with me further there, including energy scanning. So yoursacredpurpose.com. Okay, great. So Kimberly, just so great to have you. Do you have any last words for the audience today?
The love in your heart is all that matters. So love each other, love your family, love your friends, love the people that you don't agree with. Love is truly all that matters. And when you find yourself getting caught up in what's not love, take a breath, step back from it, find peace, and come back to love, because that is all that truly matters.
Amen. And so it is. Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, everybody. Awesome. Just an amazing show. So everybody, so grateful for you tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and, continue to be with us, and just keep on tuning in, and we'll keep on rocking it here on Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till the next time. Blessing.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com. to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.